The sleek, obsidian spacecraft pierced through Earth's atmosphere, its hull glowing red-hot as it plummeted towards the planet's surface. Inside, two alien sisters, Naira and Zara, braced themselves for impact. Their hearts raced with a mixture of fear and anger as they contemplated their fate. Naira, the elder sister, gripped the control panel tightly, her violet eyes narrowed in concentration. "I can't believe they've done this to us," she hissed through clenched teeth. "Exiled to this primitive world, all because we dared to question the Council's outdated beliefs." Zara placed a comforting hand on her sister's shoulder, her silver skin shimmering in the dim light of the cockpit. "We knew the risks, Naira. But perhaps this is an opportunity in disguise. A chance to start anew, free from the constraints of our society." As the ship crashed into a dense forest, the impact sent tremors through the surrounding area. Trees splintered and fell, creating a small clearing around the smoking vessel. Naira and Zara emerged from the wreckage, their lithe forms moving with otherworldly grace despite the rough landing. The sisters surveyed their new surroundings, taking in the lush greenery and the unfamiliar sense of Earth. Naira wrinkled her nose in disgust. "This air is so heavy. And look at all this chaos," she gestured to the wild forest around them. "How do these humans live in such disorder?" Zara, however, found herself fascinated by the vibrant life surrounding them. She reached out to touch a nearby flower, marveling at its delicate petals. "It's beautiful in its own way, sister. So different from the sterile perfection of our world." Their moment of wonder was interrupted by the sound of approaching vehicles. Lights pierced through the trees, and voices could be heard shouting in a language foreign to their ears. Naira tensed, ready for a confrontation, but Zara placed a calming hand on her arm. "Remember, we're here to learn and adapt. Let's not make enemies before we've even begun," Zara whispered. As the humans approached, led by a tall, stern-looking man in a military uniform, Naira and Zara stood their ground. The sisters' appearance, their silver skin, lack of hair, and striking violet eyes, caused a stir among the human group. The leader stepped forward, his hand resting cautiously on his weapon. "I am Colonel Ethan Blackwood of the United Earth Defense Force. Identify yourselves and state your purpose here." Zara, ever the diplomat, inclined her head in a gesture of respect. "Greetings, Colonel Blackwood. I am Zara, and this is my sister Naira. We come from a distant world called Lumina. We are exiles, sent here as punishment for questioning our planet's rigid societal norms." Naira scoffed, her posture defiant. "Punishment for seeking freedom and individuality. Your world may be primitive, but at least you're not slaves to a hive-mind mentality." Colonel Blackwood's eyebrows rose at Naira's blunt words. He studied the sisters for a moment before speaking. "Well, this is certainly unexpected. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to come with us. We have protocols for first contact situations, and your arrival is going to cause quite a stir." As they were led to the waiting vehicles, Naira and Zara exchanged glances. They knew their lives were about to change dramatically, but neither could have predicted the adventures and challenges that lay ahead. The sisters were taken to a secure facility, where they were subjected to a battery of tests and interviews. Scientists marveled at their advanced physiology, while government officials debated the potential implications of their presence on Earth. Through it all, Naira remained guarded and skeptical, her sharp tongue often getting her into trouble with their human hosts. Zara, on the other hand, approached each new experience with curiosity and openness, eager to learn about this strange new world. As days turned into weeks, the sisters began to adapt to their new surroundings. They were given quarters within the facility and began to learn Earth languages and customs. Zara threw herself into studying human culture and science, while Naira focused on understanding Earth's political systems and military capabilities. One day, as they sat in the facility's cafeteria, Naira leaned close to her sister. "We need to start planning our next move, Zara. We can't stay here forever, under their constant surveillance." Zara looked troubled. "But where would we go?" We know so little about this world. And some of the humans have been kind to us. Dr. Olivia Reed has been particularly helpful in teaching me about Earth's ecosystems. Naira's eyes narrowed. Don't get too attached, sister. Remember, we're here because we have no choice. We owe these humans nothing. As they continued their hushed conversation, neither sister noticed the young soldier watching them from across the room. Private Jack Harper had been assigned to guard duty at the facility, and he found himself intrigued by the alien visitors, particularly the fiery Naira. Little did any of them know that their lives were about to become intertwined in ways they could never have imagined, as forces both on Earth and beyond set in motion events that would challenge their beliefs, test their loyalties, and ultimately, open their hearts to unexpected possibilities. The harsh fluorescent lights of the containment facility buzzed overhead as Lyra and Zoe tried to adjust to their new reality on Earth. The alien sisters found themselves in a sterile room, a far cry from the advanced technology and comfort they were accustomed to on their home planet. Lyra paced back and forth, her silver skin shimmering under the artificial light. "This is ridiculous," she hissed, her violet eyes flashing with anger. "We're not lab rats to be studied and prodded." Zoe sat calmly on one of the narrow beds, her gaze fixed on the tablet they had been given to learn about Earth's culture and history. "We need to make the best of this situation, sister," she said softly. "The more we cooperate, the better our chances of finding a way to live freely on this planet." As days turned into weeks, the sisters found themselves immersed in a crash course on humanity. They devoured information about Earth's history, its diverse cultures, and the complex web of human emotions that seemed so foreign to their logical, collective-minded species. Dr. Evelyn Carter, the lead scientist assigned to study the aliens, entered their room with a warm smile. "Good morning, Lyra and Zoe. How are you finding your Earth studies?" Lyra scoffed, but Zoe's eyes lit up with excitement. "It's fascinating, Dr. Carter. The concept of individual expression through art and music is particularly intriguing. On our world, such pursuits were considered unnecessary and even dangerous." Dr. Carter nodded, her expression thoughtful. "That's wonderful, Zoe. I was hoping you both might be interested in a little field trip today. We think it's time you experienced some of Earth's culture firsthand." The sisters exchanged glances, a mix of apprehension and curiosity passing between them. As they were led out of the facility for the first time since their arrival, they found themselves blinking in the bright sunlight of a bustling city street. The cacophony of sounds, smells, and sights overwhelmed their senses. Humans of all shapes, sizes, and colors hurried past, each lost in their own world. Street vendors called out their wares, the aroma of unfamiliar foods wafting through the air. Lyra tensed, her body coiled like a spring ready to snap. "There's no order, no structure," she muttered. "How do they function in such chaos?" Zoe, however, found herself drawn to the vibrant energy of the street. Her eyes darted from one fascinating sight to another, drinking in the diversity in life that surrounded them. As they walked, guided by Dr. Carter and flanked by discreet security personnel, they came across a street performer playing a haunting melody on a violin. The music seemed to weave through the air, touching something deep within the alien sisters. Zoe found herself moving closer, entranced by the raw emotion conveyed through the simple wooden instrument. "It's beautiful," she whispered, her voice filled with wonder. Even Lyra, despite her best efforts to remain aloof, felt something stir within her at the sound. For a brief moment, the rigid barriers of her mind softened, allowing a glimmer of understanding to shine through. Their journey continued, taking them through a bustling marketplace where the sisters marveled at the variety of goods on display. The concept of personal possessions, of choosing items based on individual preference rather than collective need, was both confusing and oddly alluring. As the day wore on, Lyra and Zoe found themselves slowly adapting to the sensory overload of Earth. They observed humans interacting, laughing, arguing, and living their lives with a freedom that was both terrifying and exhilarating. Back in their room that evening, the sisters sat in contemplative silence, processing all they had experienced. Zoe was the first to speak, her voice soft but filled with excitement. "Lyra, I think I'm beginning to understand why the Council feared our ideas so much. The freedom here, the ability to choose one's own path, it's intoxicating." Lyra frowned, but her expression was more thoughtful than angry. "It's chaotic and inefficient," she argued, but there was a hint of uncertainty in her voice. "And yet, I can't deny there's a certain appeal to it." As they drifted off to sleep that night, both sisters found their dreams filled with vivid images of Earth's wonders. And deep within their hearts, a small seed of change had been planted, one that would grow to challenge everything they thought they knew about themselves and their place in the universe. Little did they know that their greatest challenge, and their greatest opportunity for growth, was yet to come, in the form of two humans who would change their lives forever. As days turned into weeks, Zara and Naira found themselves slowly adjusting to life on Earth. The initial shock of their exile had faded, replaced by a growing curiosity about the world around them. Despite their best efforts to remain aloof, the sisters couldn't help but be drawn into the vibrant tapestry of human life. One sunny afternoon, Zara ventured out into the facility's garden, her violet eyes wide with wonder as she took in the riot of colors and scents. She knelt beside a patch of wildflowers, marveling at their delicate petals and the busy insects that flitted between them. As she reached out to touch a particularly vibrant bloom, a voice startled her. "Beautiful, aren't they?" Zara looked up to see a young human man standing nearby, a warm smile on his face. He introduced himself as Dr. Ethan Parker, one of the scientists assigned to study the alien visitors. Despite her initial hesitation, Zara found herself drawn into a conversation with the friendly human. His enthusiasm for Earth's biodiversity was infectious, and soon they were deep in discussion about the similarities and differences between their two worlds. Meanwhile, Naira had taken to spending her time in the facility's gym, pushing her body to its limits in an attempt to work off her frustration and anger. It was during one of these intense workout sessions that she caught the eye of Lieutenant Olivia Chen, a tough-as-nails soldier assigned to the facility's security detail. Intrigued by Naira's strength and agility, Olivia approached her with an offer to spar. At first, Naira scoffed at the idea of training with a primitive human, but her competitive nature got the better of her. To her surprise, she found Olivia to be a worthy opponent, matching her blow for blow with a combination of skill and determination that Naira couldn't help but admire. As the days passed, Zara and Ethan spent more time together, their conversations ranging from the intricacies of Earth's ecosystems to the philosophical differences between their cultures. Zara found herself opening up to the human, sharing her doubts and fears about their exile. Ethan listened with compassion, offering words of encouragement and support that touched Zara in ways she hadn't expected. Naira and Olivia's sparring sessions became a daily occurrence, their initial wariness giving way to a grudging respect. Olivia's sharp wit and no-nonsense attitude began to chip away at Naira's defenses, and she found herself looking forward to their time together. There was something refreshing about Olivia's directness, so different from the carefully controlled emotions of their homeworld. One evening, as the four of them gathered in the facility's common room, an unexpected moment of connection occurred. Ethan had brought in a selection of Earth foods for the sisters to try, eager to introduce them to new flavors and textures. As Zara bit into a slice of ripe mango, her eyes widened with delight. "This is incredible," she breathed, savoring the sweet, juicy fruit. "We have nothing like this on Lumina." Naira, initially skeptical, found herself equally enamored with the spicy kick of salsa and the rich, creamy texture of avocado. As they shared the meal, laughing at Naira's reaction to particularly hot peppers and Zara's attempts to use chopsticks, the barriers between them seemed to melt away. Olivia regaled them with stories of her military adventures, while Ethan shared fascinating tidbits about Earth's diverse cultures and traditions. For the first time since their arrival, Zara and Naira felt truly at ease, the weight of their exile lifting if only for a moment. As the night wore on, Zara found herself drawn to Ethan's kind eyes and gentle demeanor. There was a warmth in his gaze that made her feel seen and understood in a way she had never experienced before. Naira, too, felt a strange flutter in her chest whenever Olivia's hand brushed against hers, a sensation both thrilling and terrifying. But even as these unexpected connections began to form, a shadow loomed on the horizon. Unbeknownst to the sisters, their growing attachment to Earth and its inhabitants had not gone unnoticed. Back on Lumina, the High Council watched with growing concern, fearing that Zara and Naira's contamination by human ideals could spread if left unchecked. As the four of them said their goodnights, parting ways with lingering glances and shy smiles, none of them realized that their budding relationships were about to be put to the ultimate test. For in the depths of space, a Luminan ship was already on its way to Earth, carrying a team of elite warriors with orders to bring the sisters back, by any means necessary. The stage was set for a confrontation that would challenge everything Zara and Naira thought they knew about love, loyalty, and what it truly means to be human. The facility buzzed with tension as Zara and Naira prepared for their first official meeting with Earth's leaders. Months had passed since their arrival, and the sisters had made significant progress in adapting to their new home. However, the looming threat of their own people's disapproval hung over them like a dark cloud. As they entered the conference room, Zara's eyes immediately locked with Ethan's. The young scientist offered her a reassuring smile, and she felt her heart skip a beat. Naira, ever observant, noticed the exchange and raised an eyebrow at her sister. General Briggs cleared his throat, drawing everyone's attention. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're here to discuss a matter of utmost importance. Our long-range sensors have detected a Luminan ship approaching Earth. We believe they're coming for Zara and Naira." The room erupted into murmurs of concern. Olivia, standing at attention near the door, caught Naira's eye. The alien felt a strange flutter in her chest at the soldier's determined expression. Ethan leaned forward, his brow furrowed. "What are our options? We can't just hand them over." "Agreed," Briggs nodded. "But we also can't risk an interstellar incident. We need a plan." Zara stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "If I may, General. We might have a solution. Naira and I have been working on a way to communicate with our people, to explain our situation and perhaps change their minds about individual freedom." Naira joined her sister, her posture proud and defiant. "We've developed a device that can transmit our thoughts and experiences directly to the Luminan ship. If we can make them understand what we've learned here on Earth, maybe we can avoid a conflict." The room fell silent as the implications of their proposal sank in. Ethan's eyes widened with admiration, while Olivia's lips curved into a small smile of approval. General Briggs stroked his chin thoughtfully. "It's risky, but it might be our best shot. How soon can you have this device ready?" "We can finish it within a day," Zara replied, her confidence growing. "But we'll need help." Ethan immediately volunteered, eager to work alongside Zara. Olivia stepped forward as well, her eyes meeting Naira's. "I'd like to assist too, if that's all right, sir." As the meeting adjourned, the four unlikely allies found themselves huddled together, planning their next move. Ethan's scientific expertise complemented Zara's alien knowledge, while Olivia's tactical mind meshed surprisingly well with Naira's strategic thinking. As they worked tirelessly through the night, the boundaries between them began to blur. Zara found herself marveling at Ethan's quick mind and kind heart, while Naira grudgingly admitted to herself that Olivia's determination and strength were admirable traits. In the early hours of the morning, as they put the finishing touches on the device, Ethan's hand brushed against Zara's. The alien felt a jolt of electricity run through her, a sensation both thrilling and terrifying. Across the room, Naira and Olivia shared a moment of unspoken understanding as they completed their part of the project. As dawn broke, the team stood back to admire their handiwork. The device hummed with potential, a testament to what could be achieved when different worlds came together. "It's beautiful," Zara whispered, her eyes shining with hope. Ethan nodded, his gaze fixed on her. "Yes, it is. Naira cleared her throat, breaking the moment. Let's just hope it works. We've got a lot riding on this. Olivia placed a reassuring hand on Naira's shoulder. We've done all we can. Now we just need to have faith. As they prepared to face the approaching Luminan ship, the four of them shared a look of determination. Whatever happened next, they would face it together, humans and aliens united by a common goal and, perhaps, something more. The Luminan ship loomed large in Earth's orbit, its sleek design a stark contrast to the primitive human vessels surrounding it. On the ground, Zara and Naira stood side by side, their device at the ready. Ethan and Olivia flanked them, providing silent support. As the first transmission from the Luminan ship came through, Zara took a deep breath and activated their creation. The air around them shimmered as their thoughts and experiences began to flow outward, a bridge between worlds. For what seemed like an eternity, they stood frozen, pouring their hearts and minds into the connection. They shared their fears, their discoveries, and most importantly, the love they had found on this strange, beautiful planet. When the light faded and the connection broke, they all held their breath, waiting for a response. The silence stretched on, unbearable in its intensity. Then, miraculously, a message came through. The Luminan ship was standing down. They had listened, they had understood, and they were willing to reconsider their stance on individual freedom. As cheers erupted around them, Zara found herself swept into Ethan's arms, their lips meeting in a kiss that felt like coming home. Nearby, Naira and Olivia shared a fierce embrace, their barriers finally crumbling. In that moment, surrounded by the joy of victory and the warmth of newfound love, Zara and Naira realized that their punishment had become their greatest gift. They had found a home, not just on Earth, but in the hearts of those who had stood by them. As the sun rose on a new day, the sisters looked to the future with hope and excitement. Their journey was far from over, but now they had partners to share it with, proof that love truly could conquer the vastness of space and the differences between worlds. As the sun rose over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the city, Lyra and Zoe found themselves facing an unexpected challenge. The Xandarian High Council, unwilling to let their exiled citizens integrate with Earth's population, had sent a team of elite warriors to bring them back, by any means necessary. The sisters stood on the rooftop of their temporary home, watching as the sleek Xandarian ships descended from the sky. Lyra's fists clenched at her sides, her eyes blazing with determination. "We won't go back," she hissed. "Not after everything we've learned here." Zoe placed a comforting hand on her sister's shoulder. "We'll find a way, Lyra. We always do." As the first wave of Xandarian warriors touched down, the sisters were surprised to find they weren't alone. Dr. Evelyn Carter and a team of Earth's finest scientists and soldiers stood beside them, ready to defend their alien friends. "We've got your back," Dr. Carter said, her voice firm with resolve. "Earth protects its own, and you're part of our family now." Lyra and Zoe exchanged a glance, touched by the humans' unwavering support. For the first time since their exile, they felt truly at home. The battle that ensued was unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Xandarian energy weapons clashed with human firearms, creating a dazzling display of light and sound. Lyra and Zoe fought side by side with their human allies, their unique abilities complementing the Earth Force's tactics. As the conflict raged on, Lyra found herself fighting alongside Jake, the soldier who had caught her weeks ago. Their movements were perfectly synchronized, as if they had trained together for years. "Not bad for a human," Lyra quipped, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Jake grinned back, his eyes never leaving the battlefield. "Just wait until you see what else I can do." Meanwhile, Zoe and Dr. Carter worked together to disable the Xandarian ship's advanced technology. Their combined knowledge of alien and Earth science proved to be a formidable weapon against the invaders. As the tide of battle began to turn in their favor, Lyra and Zoe realized that they had found something on Earth that they never had on Xandar: true friendship and acceptance. The humans fought not just to protect their planet, but to defend the sisters they had come to see as their own. In a moment of clarity, Lyra understood that the High Council's fear of individuality was misplaced. It was their differences that made them stronger, their unique perspectives that allowed them to overcome seemingly impossible odds. With a final push, the Earth forces and their alien allies drove back the Xandarian warriors. As the last ship retreated into the atmosphere, a cheer went up from the defenders. They had won, not through superior technology or strength, but through the power of unity and acceptance. As the dust settled, Lyra and Zoe found themselves surrounded by their human friends. Dr. Carter pulled them into a tight embrace, tears of joy and relief streaming down her face. "Welcome home," she whispered. The sisters looked at each other, their hearts full of emotion. They had come to Earth as exiles, but they had found a family. And in that moment, they knew that their journey was far from over. It was just beginning. In the weeks following the battle, Lyra and Zoe found themselves at the center of a whirlwind of activity. Earth's governments, now fully aware of the existence of alien life, were eager to learn from the sisters and establish peaceful relations with other worlds. Dr. Carter and her team worked tirelessly to integrate Xandarian technology with Earth's systems, creating advancements that would benefit all of humanity. Lyra and Zoe were instrumental in this process, their unique knowledge bridging the gap between the two worlds. As they settled into their new lives, the sisters found themselves drawn to the humans who had fought alongside them. Lyra and Jake spent countless hours training together, their competitive spirits pushing each other to new heights. Zoe and Dr. Carter became inseparable, their shared passion for science leading to breakthrough after breakthrough. One evening, as they watched the sunset from their favorite spot on the beach, Lyra turned to her sister. "Do you ever miss Xander?" she asked, her voice soft with nostalgia. Zoe was quiet for a moment, considering the question. "I miss parts of it," she admitted. "The beauty of our cities, the advanced technology. But I don't miss the rigid conformity, the fear of being different." She smiled, taking her sister's hand. "Here, we're free to be ourselves. And I wouldn't trade that for anything." Lyra nodded, understanding exactly what her sister meant. On Earth, they had found not just acceptance, but celebration of their uniqueness. It was a freedom they had never known before, and one they cherished deeply. As the stars began to twinkle in the darkening sky, Jake and Dr. Carter joined them on the beach. The four of them sat in comfortable silence, watching the waves crash against the shore. "We've received a transmission from Xander," Dr. Carter said finally, breaking the peaceful quiet. "The High Council wants to open diplomatic relations with Earth." Lyra and Zoe exchanged a glance, their hearts racing with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. This was their chance to bridge the gap between their old home and their new one, to show the Council the value of individuality and diversity. "We'll go," Lyra said, her voice firm with resolve. "We'll show them what we've learned here, how much stronger we are together." Jake reached out, taking Lyra's hand in his. "You won't go alone," he said, his eyes shining with determination. "We're in this together, all of us." As they sat there on the beach, the two alien sisters and their human companions, they knew that their greatest adventure was just beginning. They had found love, acceptance, and purpose on a planet they once thought primitive. And now, they had the chance to spread that understanding across the stars. The future was uncertain, filled with challenges and obstacles they couldn't yet imagine. But as they looked at each other, their hearts full of love and hope, Lyra and Zoe knew one thing for certain: whatever came next, they would face it together, as a family. The journey back to Xander was a surreal experience for Lyra and Zoe. As their ship, a marvel of combined Earth and Xandarian technology, cut through the vast expanse of space, they found themselves reflecting on how much had changed since their exile. Jake and Dr. Carter sat with them in the cockpit, their presence a comforting reminder of the home they had found on Earth. The humans' wide-eyed wonder at the beauty of space travel brought smiles to the sisters' faces, reminding them of the joy of discovery they had rediscovered on Earth. As they approached Xander, its gleaming cities and perfectly ordered landscapes came into view. Lyra felt a pang of nostalgia, mixed with a newfound appreciation for the chaotic beauty of Earth. "It's so perfect," Jake murmured, his face pressed against the viewport. Zoe nodded, a wry smile on her face. "That's what we once thought too. But now we know that true perfection lies in imperfection, in the beautiful chaos of individuality." Their arrival on Xander caused quite a stir. The sight of the exiled sisters returning with human companions was unprecedented, and crowds gathered to watch as they made their way to the High Council chambers. The council members sat in their elevated seats, their faces impassive as Lyra and Zoe stepped forward. But as the sisters began to speak, sharing their experiences on Earth and the valuable lessons they had learned, the council's stoic facade began to crack. Lyra spoke of the strength found in diversity, of how Earth's many cultures and viewpoints allowed for innovation and growth. Zoe shared the scientific advancements they had made by combining Xandarian and Earth technologies, demonstrating the power of collaboration. As they spoke, Jake and Dr. Carter stood beside them, living proof of the bonds that could be formed between different species. Their presence spoke volumes, showing the Council the potential for a future where Xander and Earth could work together as allies and friends. The Council listened in rapt attention, their minds opening to new possibilities. By the end of the presentation, even the most skeptical members couldn't deny the benefits of the path Lyra and Zoe proposed. In a historic decision, the High Council voted to establish formal relations with Earth, paving the way for a new era of interstellar cooperation. Lyra and Zoe were hailed as visionaries, their exile now seen as the catalyst for a great leap forward for both worlds. As they prepared to return to Earth, now as official ambassadors, Lyra and Zoe felt a sense of completion. They had bridged the gap between two worlds, bringing understanding and acceptance where once there was fear and mistrust. Jake pulled Lyra close, planting a kiss on her forehead. "Ready to go home?" he asked, his eyes twinkling with excitement for their next adventure. Lyra smiled, looking from Jake to her sister and Dr. Carter. "I am home," she said softly. "Home is wherever we're together." As their ship lifted off from Xander, carrying them back to the beautiful blue planet they now called home, Lyra and Zoe knew that their journey was far from over. There would be challenges ahead, new worlds to explore, and bridges to build across the stars. But with their human family by their side, and the love they had found on Earth to guide them, they were ready for whatever the universe had in store. Their punishment had become their greatest gift, leading them to a love that transcended the boundaries of worlds and species. And as Earth grew larger in their viewport, its swirling clouds and vast oceans a welcome sight, Lyra and Zoe knew that they had found their true destiny, not in the perfect order of Xander, but in the beautiful chaos of a world that had taught them the true meaning of love, acceptance, and family.